Hey guys, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So BT12 getting ever closer. Pre-release is less than a month away at this point, just a few weeks out. And of course, we've got to start looking into BT12, right? All the best cards that we need to get that already exist. I've already gone over in another video of cards to get before BT12. Now we're going to start looking at BT12 itself. We're really kind of zeroing in on what we should be looking at. We've looked at what the best decks are, but what exactly makes these new decks so great, right? So that's what we're going to look at today. What are the best cards in BT12 that make these new decks so good? Don't forget, our featured memory marker this month is WarGrowlmon's baby here. This is Beelzemon. This is handmade out of clay by my wife, hand painted as well. Cute, nice little textured, furry little memory marker made out of clay. Just really fantastic. This completes our Ghost game set. This is our reward for Patreon this month, as well as you can find this in her Etsy page, link in the description below. Also, you can find a triple pack if you haven't got any of them yet that has this one. It's got the Gummymon, or not Gummymon, oh man, what's his name? I'm already for Greymon and Poyomon, so you can get all three of them as a set for a discounted rate. And also there you can find all of our other memory markers that we featured on the channel. So if you want to just pick up something individually, you can do that as well. She's done a ton of memory markers at this point, so definitely go check those out. That is Digimon. So her link is in the description below for her Etsy page. All right, so right here, I've got BT12 pulled up for you guys. I should probably pull up my notes because that'll definitely help me get through this video. There's so many cards to cover though. I'm not gonna cover everything. I'm just trying to pick the highlights here. I tried to make it a top 5, but it kind of worked into a top 6, and that's just how it is. If I did an honorable mentions, literally there would be too many to talk about. There are so many good cards in here for so many decks. Like things I'm not going to mention is going to be like Old Force X, really cool card. Old Force is doing quite well right now in the format, so Old Force X will be a nice little addition for the deck. There's a lot of Imperial stuff that's in here that I'm just not going to be able to touch on. A whole new Imperial Dramon strategy that's really great with Davis here really making the deck pop off. There is a new like Crossheart support and Bagura / Dark Knight support that I'm not covering. Tons of Tamers in here that I can't really touch on just because I would literally be here all day talking about them. New Gallantmon support, new Red Hybrid support, which I am super excited about. Probably be the deck that I play the most for fun, but not going to mention any of those cards here because none of them quite touch on the cards that we're going to talk about. Like, yes, there's a lot of good stuff in here, but the cards I'm going to talk about, I think, are just one step above even that. They are just that good and that powerful of cards. So let's just go ahead and start off. I'm not one to beat around the bush. I'm going to go for what I consider to be the best card of the set and arguably one of the best cards of the next format, of the BT12 format. And that, of course, is the Beelzemon X Antibody. We've had the Purple Cup, Beelzemon Cup all weekend, and we've seen how powerful like that new Beelzemon starter deck is. It's really solid, but it's not to that level yet. It's still missing a little bit, and this is exactly the nail in the coffin to I don't know, in the format or begin a new format. So it's a Digivolve for 1 from Beelzemon. It's an X Antibody, so that makes sense. When Digivolving, if this Digimon has Beelzemon or X Antibody in its Digivolution cards, for every 10 cards in your trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. You've seen how Beelzemon works already. You see that they get like 30, 40 cards in their trash, you know, in no time. Like turn 4 or 5, basically almost their whole deck is in the trash. So when you Digivolve into this guy, using like your X Antibody option, the when attacking Digivolve, right? You're going to trash your opponents, basically their whole security, And if they have anything left, you can hit them with Beelzemon X here, and then after that, you go into your blast mode to finish game, which is basically kind of like a Blitz Omnimon. And then on deletion, which in theory you should never get this guy deleted, but it does happen. You may play one Digimon card with Impmon in its name from your trash without paying its memory cost, which is a really fantastic kind of finisher. Just get another body on field to help you end the game on a following turn. So essentially this will be a new OTK deck in the format, but even stronger than anything like we've had before, like Grandis, simply because, one, it's just trashing the security without checking it, which is huge. So like security control was always good against those really fast decks like Grandis, as well as MetalGreymon X, because they could put in a lot of damage, but they were always susceptible to option cards and security. This guy's just completely circumvents that and is like, yeah, just trash all of your security and I'll just immediately win. And those other decks didn't have, well, Guru X did, but Grandis never had access to like an Omnimon, a Blitz Omnimon sort of thing, which is where that blast mode's going to come in really, really handy, just because it's essentially like a one-cost Evo, which is really, really easy to get like memory back in this deck, so you'll always have memory to combo off with. So yeah, this absolutely probably the most powerful card in the set, just because it's basically doing what all the other decks that have come before it do, but even better because it doesn't check security anymore. So really, really fantastic card. But moving on from there, look at another one I'm pretty excited about, and we got a new Marcus here. It's the first card like this we've seen in the game. So start of your main phase, if you have a Digimon with Agumon or Greymon in its name, which this game has plenty of those, so no issues there, of multiple colors, in fact. By paying one memory, this tamer is also treated as a Digimon 3000 DP and cannot Digivolve for the turn. So now we have one-cost tamers turning into Digimon. That's better than a hybrid, right? Hybrids at least are 2 Evo cost. This guy's a 1 memory to turn into a tamer or turn into a Digimon and attack. And with all the other abilities that the new Rise Greymon package comes with, you can give this guy security attack +1, 3000 DP. When it gets deleted, because I mean 6000 DP, security attack +1, it's pretty likely that it'll probably die. It gets sent straight to security. As soon as your opponent hits it in security, it plays out for free, and you just do the cycle all over again. This is absolutely insane. And it doesn't even stop there. So your turn, when this tamer becomes suspended, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into a yellow card with Greymon in its name from your hand without paying its Digivolution cost. So you one memory, turn this guy into a Digimon, swing for multiple checks, then Digivolve into a Mega for free, like your Shine Greymon. You're normally a 4 Evo cost. Digivolve into it for free. That's huge. That's game-breaking huge. Just absolutely absurdly powerful card this Marcus is. Just wait until you see this guy in action. It's very, very scary when you start popping off with all those combos and stuff. So that is our second card. Our third card I want to go over is the Digimon. So this is a new way to play Crossheart. Not really Crossheart, but it's a new way to play the sort of Digicross decks here in the form of a Digimon. This is kind of the pseudo boss monster, if you want to call it that. Or sorry, not this one. I skipped over the wrong one. It's Superior Mode that I want to talk about. Yes, okay. The Digimon Superior Mode is the one I'm looking for. So 4 Evo cost here, Digivolve 4 from red, black, or purple, level 4 if it contains save. So again, mostly the stuff with save is going to be like your Digicross sort of things, or the new way to play Digicross. When Digivolving, place one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon under one of your opponent's other Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card, or under one of their tamers. For each tamer you have in play with a different color, increase the maximum level of this card you can choose by 1. All of you Old Force players out there, you know exactly how powerful this kind of mechanic is. Having more tamers in play, bumping up these levels that you can do, super, super strong. So starts at a level 3, you get 3 tamers on board. That's a mega. I mean, and in a Crossheart sort of Digicross style deck, you're going to have a ton of tamers all the time. So super strong here. You can also reduce the Digivolution cost. Multiple of the tamers here, they have mechanics that like reduce Evo costs now for like save and things like that. But end of your turn, once per turn, if this Digimon has 4 or more Digivolution cards, this Digimon can attack without suspending. So, a couple caveats to that might not seem obvious. You can swing with this guy, right? Get a security check during your turn. And then once your turn passes, while he's still suspended, he can attack again. So a great way to finish games off that is really hard to play around. Even if you think about back in the day with, hybrid for game, you couldn't always plan out when your opponent might have that extra punch or the Blitz Omnimon. It's like, oh, okay, I can plan for 3 attacks, but if there's a chance they have 4, it's really hard to play around. A Reshiramon is basically the same kind of thing. There's a whole extra attack that you can't plan for with this guy. It's like they might have it, they probably have it, you don't know. We'll just kind of have to see and hope for the best. And yeah, they're going to bring out this guy. He's going to attack, and then he's going to attack again at the end of the turn. Now, if you do Digivolve into him and it passes turn, you're only going to get the 1 attack. So that's a bit of a bummer, but still very strong card. All right, another one that's on the list. I will say, though, that this is... it's been power checked a little bit because of the recent ban list with the Greymon X Antibody that reduces the Evo costs of your MetalGreymons and things like that. This has lost a little bit of steam. Before, it was a 3 Evo cost on top of a card that contains Greymon. Now, that new Greymon X still exists in the game. It's just a 1-of now. But you can Digivolve this guy for 3 and then reduce that 3 by another 2. It's a 1 cost Evo level 5 with a wall of text. I mean, even like old vanillas could not beat this. I mean, that's how crazy this card is. It's super strong. It's got the raid mechanic, which allows you to switch your attack target to an unsuspended Digimon with the highest DP, so that can really come into play pretty often. All turns, once per turn, when a Digimon's attack target is switched, you may play 1 black or red tamer with a play cost of 4 or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. So free tamer play is super popular in this set. There's several level 4s that do it. We saw it a little bit in the last set as well, getting these tamers out for free that are like pivotal to the strategy, right? Especially something like, just going off the top of my head, Gallantmon really needs the Blitz from Takato to really pop off, and this is kind of the same similar thing as this one, and the Greymon underneath it, they get to play out tamers for free, which is very strong. That's pretty awesome. So you can use itself there, but also it's got the inheritable of giving piercing to your Greymons and Omnimons, which is huge. We haven't had this since EX1, and that card's pretty dated. It's only a red color, so this being a duo color 3 Evo on top of a Greymon, potentially a 1 cost Evo. It's huge. 1 cost Evo into this guy, and it's got piercing as an inheritable. This thing is stupid strong. Very like over the top. Now I will say, though, again, it barely made the list. If I had it would be no problem on the list if it wasn't for that hit, the Greymon X hit. Definitely brought this down a little bit, probably to the bottom of this tier list here of the best cards. At one point was like number 2 on the list, but now it's been power checked a little bit just because it doesn't have the support that makes it truly busted quite in the level that it used to have. Still, though, very strong 3 Evo cost MetalGreymon, black and red. Can Evo on top of any Greymon, no matter what the color is. Gives piercing. That's huge. Gets to play out tamers for free. Has the raid mechanic. Very good. Okay. Yeah, not much else to say about that one. Super strong, very efficient card, which black and red usually don't get. It's like some green levels of efficiency right there. Next, though, speaking of Gallantmon, we are not talking about the new Gallantmon himself. While he is cool, and he is definitely like the favorite of the new megas that you want to play of the Gallantmon because he trashes the security so easily and things like that, we're actually looking at the new WarGrowlmon. Yes, we're looking at not a mega or anything like that. This is another support card that's like crazy good in the deck it goes in. This will probably be your go-to WarGrowlmon moving forward, of course with the X Antibody in addition to it. But when digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 DP or less. If no Digimon is deleted by this effect, you may digivolve this Digimon into a level 6 Digimon with Gallantmon in its name in your hand by paying its Digivolution cost. When this Digimon would digivolve with this effect, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. Now remember, it's all I can words. Takado gives Blitz, so you can essentially digivolve into this guy, give it Blitz. So even if it passes turn, you can swing, then digivolve into a Gallantmon for a reduced Evo cost. That's pretty great. And then its end of attack ability kicks in if your opponent has no Digimon in play, and this Digimon has Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name, gain 2 memory. And you know, we're all about deleting your opponent's Digimon with this deck. So if there's, you know, we're popping things, we're clearing the opponent's board out, and we're getting security checks all in one go, which is really, really strong. Board control without the expense of doing damage to your opponent. Okay, that is huge. Security control is usually like, okay, I can clear my opponent's board out over and over and over, but getting damaged through can be a bit of a chore for that deck. Whereas this is like, oh, I got the board control as well as I got the damage output to go with it. Trashes security for free, which is super strong. We already talked about that with the Beelzemon X. Getting security cleared out without actually having to check it, very strong. So really great stuff here with the WarGrowlmon. And then you gain that 2 memory back after the end of attack. So you're going to gain 2 off of this. You'll probably gain maybe some memory off of Takado or the Growlmon, the old starter deck Growlmon that's going to gain you memory as well. So you've got numerous ways to gain memory back, either A, to choke your opponent, or B, bring it back to your side, and then you can go into something like a Gallantmon X, which will trash more security. And remember, you've got that Blitz, so you know you've got this really powerful mechanic there. So if you unsuspend with the Gallantmon X, then you can go into like Crimson mode and trash more security and just do all kinds of stuff. So really powerful plays here with this WarGrowlmon. That gain 2 memory is really, really fantastic, as well as the Digivolve. When digivolving, right? That's a weird way to word that sentence, but super strong card. If you're a fan of Gallantmon, this is the time to play Gallantmon. It's doing pretty well for the Ultimate Cups because of the monocolor, but next set, BT12, this is a fantastic deck. I would say worthy of playing at large events. Yes, like you could probably get away with playing Gallantmon at a regional and do pretty decently, depending on how good you are as a player with the deck. Will of course factor into it, getting that perfect deck building that makes it super efficient to keep up with a lot of the other decks. I think there's great potential for this deck to do really amazing things, and a big part of it here is that the WarGrowlmon being very, very good. That gain 2 memory is huge. When you start playing it, you'll see what I mean. All right, and the last card I want to talk about, I know there's still just a ton that I haven't covered, but this video, you know, they already kind of get a little bit long. I don't want to make it too long. One last card is Quartzmon. This thing feels so unfair and so unbalanced. I'm surprised it's not doing more in the JP meta than it is. Maybe with the Greymon X hit, maybe we'll see it. I don't know. A little less tamer control in the format might make this guy pop off a little bit more, but it just feels so absurdly good. It can Evo on 3 different color megas. Now a white mega is a little bit uncommon, but black and green with the duo colors and things like that that exist out there, this can branch out into other colors as well because of that, as well as it goes with the purple, what's his name, the Astamon. This is actually the card that it goes with, which is like kind of a lot of the purple package that you see in this format. So he kind of goes into these purple decks as well with the Astamon. So he can warp into this and skip over the level 6. He's a level 7. He can Digivolve 9 from a level 5 if it contains save, which again, that opens up the realm of possibilities. Now granted, 9 Evo is pretty steep, but still super strong. can fit into a lot of different decks, and save decks are often, you know, your Digicross decks that also have a ton of tamers. So having a ton of tamers is exactly what the kind of deck this wants to fit into. So when Digivolving, suspend all Digimon except this Digimon and suspend all tamers, then gain 1 memory for every 2 suspended Digimon and or tamers in play. So yeah, that 9 is huge, that 6 is pretty huge, but for every 2 suspended in play, you're gaining a memory back. That's massive. So you can instantly turn this guy into a very cheap Evo cost, and cheap Evo cost on something this strong feels crazy good. All turns, all Digimon except this, and all tamers can't unsuspend. So you basically lock your whole opponent's board down. You lock your own board down as well, but once you have this guy in play, you're in a pretty good position. Your opponent basically has to focus fire on Quartzmon. They can't really focus on doing anything else. They've got to either clear Quartzmon or find a way to win off of basically promoting something at a raising area. So it can be extremely difficult. So even if you've got your own stuff locked down, you're only locked down temporarily until your opponent clears this off. And usually if they're clearing this off, they're passing turn back to you, so then all your stuff will unsuspend during your unsuspend phase, and their stuff is still locked down for another turn. So super strong in that aspect, but it doesn't stop there. When attacking, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or tamers. So if they play out something new, you know, promote up something at a raising area, hard play a Digimon, something like that, you could suspend that target, and then for every 5 suspended Digimon and or tamers, so you in play, so you add up your own and your opponent's, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So you've got 5 things, your opponent's got 5 things, attack, that's trash too. Again, this is the 3rd time we've talked about it, but trashing is huge. Trashing security is going to be like the new way to handle decks. So people keep complaining about security control. This BT12 format is introducing tons of ways to circumvent security control. So security control is not going to be the big end-all be-all to like OTK decks and things like that anymore. You're getting more and more to the point where you cannot rely on your security. Even stuff like Beelzemon is not going to be in a great position anymore because of all these new ways to trash security. So Quartzmon and the other ones that we talked about as well, the Beelzemon X, and I forgot what the other one was. Gallantmon. Yeah, so Gallantmon's got numerous ways to trash security as well. All these big like contender decks now are very much shutting down security control, and I think this will be a fantastic addition. I've got some big plans for Quartzmons. We'll see if it pans out. I don't know. It may or may not do well at all. We'll just have to wait and see if I can do a little bit more testing with it in an actual meta environment, and we'll see how it does. But I think it's super strong though, just because in the right setting, especially in the fact that you're going to play it in a tamer heavy deck, and we're going to probably see several tamer heavy decks in the format. So you're going to be able to get, I think, some good value off of this. I mean, when attacking, could you imagine trashing 3 or 4 of your opponent's security? I would imagine you've probably already done a little bit of damage then. If you're suspending everything in play, that means you're turning off all your opponent's blockers, so they can't even stop you. So you just attack, trash all the rest of their security, and then win off of the attack immediately. So as soon as this guy comes down into play, you immediately win. Again, that's 6 Evo costs that you have to basically make back up for every 2. But if you're trashing 3 security, that means there's probably 15 plus cards on the field, and you're gaining 2 memory for every 1. That's at least 7 memory right there. So you're going to be able to gain all that memory back that you spent on the Evo cost. So not a big deal. Super strong card. Very excited to see what this one does. Also a little terrified of the format to see what this card does. It could absolutely break the game in the right setting with the right build. I just think it hasn't been figured out. But that'll do it. Again, there's just so much more that I can't touch on. It just doesn't end. There's so much good stuff. We got Shining Blast now, which is essentially just a new way of running with the other one that they limited, the other yellow-red one that was a 5-play cost that they had a limit to 1. Yeah, so that's basically just a new version of it, just a little bit different. This set is going to be crazy. This is like a hard reset of the game. We're going to go into this format, and Sure, we're going to be updating some older decks using some old support in the past with this stuff, but I think the focus of the new BT12 meta was going to be on all of these decks. I don't think there's going to be a deck in the format that doesn't draw something out of this BT12 set that makes it meta relevant. There's just, I don't think there's going to be a deck that's going to be like, nope, I'm not going to use any BT12 cards and I'm still going to be relevant. I don't think there's going to be. Even MetalGreymon, there's some MetalGreymon support in here as well with the Quartzmon X Antibody. Like, every good deck in the game right now is getting support in this set to make it even better. Older decks are also getting support that actually make them relevant, like Gallantmon, WarGrowlmon, things like that. So looking forward to this set so much. I absolutely cannot wait. I think it's going to be an absolute blast.